shake it.
What?
Kiss, kiss ass.
What? Shake it. What?
Kiss ass.
What?
Shake it.
What?
Kiss ass.
What? Shake it. What?
Kiss ass.
Contamination taking hold. Burn it down, I'm gonna burn it down. Ain't nobody gonna stop me now. I'm gonna burn it down. Watch it burn down to the ground. I'm gonna burn it down. Ain't nobody gonna stop me now. I'm gonna burn it down. Watch it burn down to the ground.
It starts with
One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain in due time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end of the day. The clock takes life away. It's so unreal. Didn't look out below. Watch the time go right out the window. Trying to hold on to didn't even know or wasted it all just to watch you go. I kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to be will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard and got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to remind myself how I tried so hard. In spite of the way you were mocking me, acting like I was part of your property. Remembering all the times you fought with me, I'm surprised it got so. Things aren't the way they were before. You wouldn't even recognize me anymore. Not that you knew me back then, but it all comes back to me in the end. You kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to me will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard and got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I put my trust in you. Pushed as far as I can go. For all this, there's only one thing you should know. I've put my trust in you. Pushed as far as I can go. For all this, only one thing you should know. I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
of the things that'll bring the trauma. Overseas, yeah, we trying to stop terrorism, but we still got terrorists here living in the USA, the big CIA, the Bloods and the Crips and the KKK. But if you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate. And to discriminate only generates hate. And when you hate, then you're bound to get irate. Yeah, madness is what you demonstrate. And that's exactly how anger works and operates. Man, you gotta have love just to set it straight. Take control of your mind and meditate. Let your soul gravitate to the love, y'all.
People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach and what you turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
It just ain't the same, always in change. New days are strange, is the world insane? If love and peace is so strong, why are the pieces of love that don't belong? Nations dropping bombs, chemical gases filling lungs of little ones with ongoing suffering as the youth are young. So ask yourself, is the loving really gone? So I could ask myself, really what is going wrong in this world that we living in? People keep on giving in, making wrong decisions, only visions of them dividends, not respecting each other, deny thy brother. A war's going on, but the reason's undercover. The truth is kept secret, it's swept under the rug. If you never know truth, then you never know love. What's the love, y'all? Come on. What's the truth, y'all? Come on. What's the love, y'all?
People killing, people dying, children hurt and you hear them crying. When you practice what you preach, what you turn the other cheek. Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
I feel the weight of the world on my shoulder. As I'm getting older, your people get colder. Most of us only care about money making. Selfishness got us following the wrong direction. Wrong information always shown by the media. Negative images is the main criteria. Infecting the young minds faster than bacteria. Kids wanna act like what they see in the cinema. Whatever happened to the values of humanity? Whatever happened to the fairness and equality? Instead of spreading love, we're spreading animosity. Lack of understanding leading us away from unity. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling under. That's the reason why sometimes I'm feeling down. It's no wonder why sometimes I'm feeling under. Gotta keep my faith alive till love is found. Now ask yourself,
Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. These people got me.
Hello, good afternoon. This is going to be a different kind of Nunya stream. This is a Nunya has had a moment to sit back and think on things and watch and watch and watch some more. So I wanted to go over a few things. Somebody sent me a link this morning. There's a page that's been doing these voice community posts, and I agreed with so much of it. I don't know the page. I don't know if they're anti somebody, pro somebody. That didn't make a difference to me. I have been recently watching so much content on all sides of the situations to get a fair assessment for myself. This isn't for anybody else. This is just me sharing my own assessment of things and kind of just pointing out a few little things that I've seen or heard that I thought were really good, really fair, and I figured I would actually share it with other people. So first and foremost, one of the things, actually two of the things I wanted to do is just within my own accountability for myself. So over the weekend, I was able to watch a little bit more, get a little bit more information. Joneson had done her stream after I did my last one, and people in the comments were basically offering more insight into why me saying Sinner had mommy issues was so offensive. And so, because it had already been weaponized against him in a very traumatic style, right? Why me doing that was just furthering that that narrative, right? So I first want to say I did not know that that had been weaponized before. So the fact that it adds on that, I apologize for that. That's never my intention. I simply made the observation based off of my own views of his actions. It has nothing to do with anything that anybody else had ever said before, but I understand why it would be triggering for anyone when that had already been put out there and I didn't know of it. So I definitely will take ownership of that. The other thing I wanted to point out is I did say that I thought it was ironic for Moon to say racist things and call somebody out for their offensive word or use of terminology, whatever you want to call it. And she did come in my comments and she made a community post that somebody had sent. And so I was able to look at it and I sat back and I thought about it. And I thought, as I started to listen to and review people's thoughts and the context behind what Clue had been saying and all of those things, me personally, I think that it comes from a place of uneducation and ignorance, and people who have accepted it in a community, right? But ultimately, me putting the label of racist on her was wrong and I took some time to reflect on what she was explaining to me. While I think that her word usage is extremely offensive to an entire group of people, and she may not understand what that effect on people is because she personally doesn't go through those experiences. And I understand that, but it is offensive. And so I do apologize for calling you racist, Moon. That's never, that part I do apologize for. I just think that your usage of that word, I also do recognize I seen a post that somebody thought was about me and it wasn't, but where you are now using other words instead of that word. Still the same insinuation, but at least you're not like being out there with it. So I can appreciate the attempt to grow and change around people that may not be comfortable with that word. So I feel like that's fair enough. So I definitely, wait a second now. Can you see me now, Deets? Now you just made me, you just threw me all the way off, Deets. Thanks so much. Sheesh. You didn't even need a bubble. Look, you know what? Here. Is that enough of a bubble for you, Deets? Dang, I was doing good. Okay. Anyways, so those are my two little things there. But I wanted to play this. It's the creator is called Just Saying. And I am going to share my screen here because I do want to go over. So I guess at one point in time, they were doing community posts and their community posts go on for paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. So now she's decided to do like voice community posts. I love the idea. I think it's very unique. I actually listened to not this one today, but I listened to one she did before. And I felt like, while I don't agree with everything, I felt like her last one was pretty fair. Still leans more one way, but obviously, because you like who you like. But it actually kind of perked my ears up a little bit and kind of gave me a different perspective. And I was like, okay, I can appreciate these. I can listen to this, So let me share my screen because I don't know if you guys have heard it or not, but let me share it so that you can watch it. All right. And I'll pause throughout because I do want to talk about a couple of different things within it. But yeah.
Hey everyone, I didn't know if I wanted to do this video or not, but I've just been...
We're too fast. Hold on. I watch everything sped up. Let's go down to a regular, normal, regular, degular. Here we go.
Staying enough that I feel like I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just afraid that someone's going to take it and twist it into something that it's not. But I watch so many creators saying that it doesn't make sense.
So before we get into this, everybody put your Great Gang hats on, okay? Open your mind. Act like you're not hearing it as a supporter of somebody else. You're not hearing it as a hater of somebody else. You're just hearing this for the first time for yourself and just want to make up your own mind, okay? Very gray, no black and white for a moment here, okay? Because some of it is going to piss you off, but others of it, you may be able to be like, okay, I can see that. I can understand that, okay? All right. Open minds. Okay. Close your heart, but open your mind. That's all I'm asking.
For anyone that's in their 30s or 40s to use an excuse of they aren't exposed to the culture, or they don't know enough about it, and that it's 2025 and nobody in America should not understand the disparities and should not be knowledgeable about other cultures and what happens and the insensitivities that there are. And I have to disagree. I think it's ignorant that there are people that don't understand that there are areas in America that are very non-diverse, and there's a lot of things that are learned from childhood that turn us into ignorant adults.
Strongly agree. I think it is absolutely positively possible that somebody could, in the year 2025, still be ignorant, still be uneducated, and still sometimes choose, sometimes because of their environment. Hi, Indy. Miss you, friend. But I think that it's absolutely possible that in 2025 that there are some areas, some people who could potentially be ignorant and be uneducated. So I agree with her there. I think, yeah.
I live in a small town about an hour and a half away from where Clue lives. And even between like where Chico lives in Memphis and then the Nashville area, Gallatin, Hendersonville, there are very big differences even between those two cities that are in the same state, pretty close to each other, in the culture, in the environment, in what's acceptable and what happens in the city. So I'm about an hour and a half away from Clue. And after seeing the comments that Clue left in JB's chat, I feel like I understand where they came from. I feel like that there is a...
Okay. Scared. I think the wording here was wrong because she's like, I understand where she's coming from, which makes it sound as if she, like, I understand where it's coming from, but she's going to go on to kind of explain that that's not what she means. Okay. I'm just explaining this for the open-minded people who are just here with an open mind and being gray gang right now. Okay. Not closed off, because I don't want you to hear that and be like, oh my God, she agrees with it. This is ridiculous. Okay. All right. This is a channel called Just Saying. I'll drop the link in just a moment. Actually, you know what? Let me do it now. Hold on. I will drop the link so that you can have it. Copy. Okay.
Portion of that is ignorance from growing up somewhere where you aren't exposed to diversity and you grow up learning stereotypes, and that's all you ever know. You aren't really exposed to anything else. I live in a very small town, and I've said this in another video. I have a county that's 45 minutes away from me that is all Caucasian, has an all Caucasian festival yearly. Things like that happen. Where I live now, my children go to a school where there is 4 students that are non-Caucasian, and that's it. Okay. We are in a poverty county that is very non-diverse. So they grow up from kindergarten to graduation, 12th grade, not being exposed to any other cultures, any other races. It's very sheltered. And
I can imagine that is a lot of areas. I can imagine there are some areas where there is a minority of people in that area, right? It could be Hispanic, it could be Asian, it could be European, it could be so many different things, where it could be Puerto Rican, Dominican, whatever, where this entire area or community is this one culture. And so it's very culturally experienced in that, in that area. And so another culture living in that area would be kind of grounded out, if that makes sense. So I think a lot of people grew up that way. I totally understood that.
And even if you're not directly taught racism from your parents, you're constantly surrounded by people that are pushing stereotypes, implying stereotypes, and that's what you pick up and learn as you grow. Now, my youngest child, We lived in a subdivision where part of it was one county and the other half was another county. One county was more diverse than the one we live in, but not super diverse. However, we were lucky that we lived next to a mixed couple. The mom was white, the dad was black, the child was mixed, and he was the same age as my son. So my youngest son grew up with him as a best friend, and he actually witnessed firsthand how he got treated differently, how he was ignored, how he was talked about. So of my kids, he is probably the most exposed to that and understanding and sees the disparities firsthand with his friend. I now feel very guilty for not speaking to them more about racism and about the disparities that happen between races and cultures and ethnicities. And I just didn't think about it, you know.
So I think the one thing I wanted to say here is I think that I actually hopped into their comments and had made a comment. And I noticed that in their comments, there's a lot of I'm sorry's, I'm sorry's, I'm sorry's. I think that this topic is such a tough topic. And I think everybody would agree that all of us have some type of ignorance when it comes to different things. It could be trans people, it could be homosexuality, it could be different ethnicities. It could be different religions, it could be different people's political stances. There's so many different areas that all of us have an ignorance in, depending on, again, it may apply to one or the other. Not everybody is 100% educated in every area that there possibly is. So I think that while I think it's important that you don't speak on things that you're not educated in, right? Or speak for an area that you're not educated in, I think it's also important to not feel, don't be sorry that you're not educated in an area. Find a way to go get educated or be open enough to be educated in that area. If that's something that you're wanting to do, you know, some people are not wanting to do that. And I can completely understand that. So, no, it is not me talking on video doohickey. It is the channel just saying. Okay.
It's a very selfish thing that I was never exposed to it and didn't witness a lot of it firsthand. So I didn't think about talking to them about it as they grew up. It wasn't in my face, so I didn't address it. I don't watch the news because it makes me anxious. So I also kind of had blinders on and was very ignorant, and I should have been teaching my children about it, but I didn't. I grew up very similar in the school that I went to in high school. There was only 2 other non-Caucasian students, and they were cousins, actually. I was good friends with a female. We played softball together. We hung out together. And I noticed something, that when she was at school and with us, she was very different than when she was with her family, and she was more relaxed and herself. And now as an adult, when I look back on that, I think how horrible that was for her, that she felt like she had to be a different person to fit in with us, and she couldn't relax and be herself like she was around her family.
I respected the hell out of this story, because I think that so there's a terminology, it's called code switching, right? And I don't know if you guys have ever heard it. We actually just talked about it the other day. Hey, True Texan. Hey, Andy. Hey, Zen. Hey, Cash. But basically code switching is where, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's only people of color, right? But it is very prevalent in that area. But where, hey, Denise, where people have to basically put on a different face to be accepted in that. And by face, I don't mean a physical face, right? It means I can't just talk in my regular tone when I'm in this area or when I'm with these people. I have to clean up what I say. I have to change some of the terminology that I would normally use to be accepted in this space. I can't wear my normal clothes I may be comfortable in, because when I go to this space, this is the common attire, and so I need to dress like them in order to be accepted in that area, right? So there are so many people that do that, right? And like I said, that's not just for people of color. Everybody, in my opinion, wears a mask every single day. But I think in the instance that she's talking about is that person, in order to be accepted in specific spaces, which it does happen a lot, people have to put on those masks. And the only way to allow there to be a space where people don't have to wear that mask is for us to be willing to A, accept people as they are, but B, also to be able to to make room in the space for other people, right? So I heard Chico say a couple of days ago that, you know, that people have complained about her sounding. People have said she sounds too ghetto when she speaks, right? Okay, all right. Well, the ghetto is a neighborhood. It's not a way of life. However, I understand what they're saying, but why does that have to, if she speaks a certain way, why does that have to be changed for anybody? Why does that give anybody a right to tell her how she should speak or how she shouldn't, right? So that just makes a difference to me. So I just thought it was a really good point and wanted to point out. Is this video explaining why Clue said what she said? No, Doohickey. No, it isn't. But it is talking about ignorance and uneducation. And we're here with our open minds just listening. Have a great and amazing day, True Texan. Enjoy a Dr. Pepper with us today.
That she had to come into school every day and be this person that she thought would fit in with the rest of us, and had to pretend every day to be somebody that wasn't actually her true self. And that really sucks. I didn't see it growing up, but now that I look back, I do. And it's terrible. I can't imagine having to be that way. And when you grow up in an area like this where you're not exposed to it, you don't see it, what happens is you kind of soak it in from people. It's not that people are in your face using the N-word and saying direct things about it. It's that everywhere you are, it is the stereotype that is implied, that is talked about, that you hear. It's not ever just like direct, bashing and name calling, but it's this stereotype. And that stereotype is, and I hate this, and I hate even saying it, but this was the ignorance that I grew up in. All of that was ingrained in us growing up just from the stereotypes that were pushed upon us. And that's kind of whenever I saw Clue's comments, what I saw her saying were things that were ingrained upon me growing up as stereotypes being pushed upon us.
So I understood what she was saying here too, but the place that I was kind of challenged in is I was challenged within myself to say, okay, while I can understand that that may be the way that you grew up, it may be the way your parents taught you, it may be you don't know any other way, right? At what point in time, so when this is pointed out, this is what I said in her comments, when this is pointed out, right? So you have become educated at some point in time when everybody is calling this out because it's egregious, right? When everybody is calling this out, to me, that's the time to say, whoa, what the fuck? I've been saying this group of people acts like monkeys all the time. Why is everybody so appalled with it? Let me try and understand this, right? And even if I don't go to like the haters and air quotes chats to get an understanding because they're just haters, right? I may go Google, right? Like, and I'll give you an example. There was a conversation recently about anti-Islam, right? And so I had a specific thought in my head of what I thought it was. And then I went online and I started like Googling and asking ChatGPT questions and all that kind of stuff, right? And so now I have a different understanding of it than I did when I started, right? I didn't need anybody on the internet to necessarily tell me. I didn't need to go to the haters to hear an explanation of anything. I made the choice, since I heard people talking about it, to go and educate myself and to get a better understanding for my own knowledge, which means that is my job to educate myself. It is not anybody else's job to educate me. And if I say something ignorant and I get called out for it, then I need to go and I need to not only educate myself, but I also have to come back, especially in this space where we go live and everybody critiques everything, right? I think there has to be a space that's allowed to say, hey, look, I'm sorry. I had always heard that. When I was growing up, it was just a terminology that we used. And I now, I've taken the time to go and look it up and to have a better understanding of it. And I won't be referring to that anymore. I understand that it's offensive and my bad, and move right along with it, right? But not just stay there and not continue to stay there. I also think that the hard part for me is I think that the internet has gotten this space, especially in this community. And I know Deets and I have had a lot of conversations about it. But to me, I feel like this community has made it. So this community has made it to the point where I mean, it's basically a call out community, right? You call everything out, everything, everyone, whoever you don't like, you just call out, call out, call out, call out, right? Okay. I think the problem with that is you are forcing that person, and I've learned this from my own personal experiences and choices. You are forcing that person to make a change that they may not want or be willing to change. So I I heard a clip of nonsense, and I think it was from back in April, when she went on Clue's panel, and somebody was giving her pushback in her chat for being up there, and she said, you know, look, I would rather fuck with someone who I'd rather fuck with somebody who shows me and tells me exactly who they are than someone who doesn't show me who they are and they're fake as hell, right? Clue has the right to be racist, say racist things, be homophobic, say homophobic things, whatever label you want to put on it, right? I don't care what label you want to put on. Me personally, I put on her words uneducated and ignorant. That's what I personally choose to put on her words. I know that some people don't agree with that stance, but that's me, Nunya, right? I put that label on her words. Okay. I don't know her heart. I don't know her in real life. I only know what she shows me on the internet, and that's it. That's all. Right. But I do respect the fuck out of the fact that she has stood on it. She stands on it and says, this is who I am. This is what I believe in. And nobody is changing me. And she can. That, like, I think that's where, like, there's a big missing thing. But in that same sentence, though, you have to be willing to say, right? Craig, those are his beliefs. So we'll get there. Let me let this video play because I'm going way too far. Hold on.
And I will 1,000% admit that I was ignorant. At one point in my life, I was very ignorant. And how that changed was whenever I went into hospice nursing and I was going into homes to take care of patients of all different races, cultures, ethnicities. And I was forced to learn by being exposed to it. And I'm so glad. I'll never forget one of my favorite patients was a Black patient that I had with pancreatic cancer. And my area that I was assigned was the downtown of the city that we live in. And I was intimidated. I'm not going to lie. I was an area that was not a great area. And I didn't know what to expect because I had never been around that. And the things that I learned from him, I'm so grateful for, and I will carry with me forever. And it made me realize exactly how ignorant I was. So I'll never forget some of the first visits to him. I hate to admit this, I was scared getting out of my car and walking up there because there was an apartment complex with a lot of people out and about. But I went in and started talking to him, and he was just the nicest guy. And I learned some very valuable things. I actually got fired from that family, and it was because I had gone to him, and he was telling me that he was eating a lot, and he was losing weight, and he didn't understand why, and wanted some medication to help him gain weight. And I told him, like I do all my patients, we expect you to lose weight. Your body is using all its energy to fight the cancer, so you're not going to put on weight. And at some point, we're going to expect you to lose your appetite because your body's energy is going towards fighting cancer. It doesn't have enough energy to digest. And he didn't seem upset. I left. At the end of the day, I went into the office. My supervisor called me in and said, the sister wants you fired. She doesn't want you going back there. And I was shocked. I was like, why? And she said, they're very upset with you. You were too blunt with him. He was very upset by it. They don't like the way you talk to him. You were taking away his hope, and they don't want you back. And I was crushed. I felt horrible. I really liked him. I thought we got along great. And I said this to everybody, so I didn't understand. So I did research. I tried to learn things. And I learned that speaking directly about death is kind of a taboo subject with be direct like that. I learned that after death, whenever I would go to clean the bodies, a lot of the times those families wanted to help clean the bodies. It's a very family oriented. There's a warmth in those homes when those families are all together. That is amazing. And I learned so much. And I learned that I was truly ignorant. I had a patient that was Amish. I learned about that. There was just different races, different things that I was so ignorant to. And I completely got my mind changed and learned truly how ignorant I was by exposure.
Strongly agree. Exposure, experience, travel, culture, like culture immersion, that all makes a huge difference in educating people on things. Like I was like, oh man, yes, when I was listening to that part.
And I feel like if I can unlearn those stereotypes by being exposed to the truth, other people can do the same. How do we know people can't change and grow if we don't give them the opportunity to? If we just shut them down and declare that they're a lost cause and nothing's going to change, how do we know? I'm telling you that they're...
Strongly agree. I think every single person should be shown grace. That's even the people I don't like. They should be shown grace. They should be given the opportunity and room for change. Again, that's my gray gang hat. That's my stance. I'm not asking anybody else to have that stance. If you don't have that stance, that's okay for you too. You have your own lines and your own boundaries, and that's completely okay. For me, I do choose grace because as humans, we all mess up. We all make mistakes. We've all, like we've told lies. We've done wrong things. We've made wrong choices in our lives. We've made mistakes and had to go back on things, like all of that. Like not one of us is perfect, right? And there is no different. I know it may seem like it, but there's no difference in one one immoral thing where somebody else may not feel like it's immoral, right? But one immoral thing doesn't outweigh another immoral thing. However, telling a lie and murdering somebody, obviously a really big difference there, right? I think that anyways, I somebody said it earlier, to not evolve is to not be human, right? Every single person should be allowed the space to grow. Everybody should be able to, and that should be present in their everyday actions, right? I think the difference is, and I'm going to quote Tara Kay. Tara Kay said, your apology should be allowed as loud as your disrespect. And I think that's the part where people can't show grace when all you continue to say is, I said what I said and I stand on it, right? So you want me to give grace to a person who's not asking for it. Like they're not saying, hey, look, now I'll give you credit. I'll give her credit. Like, again, being fair, Clue sounded deeply apologetic for her use of the F word. She sounded like she reflected on that. And she realized if somebody used that word towards her daughter or daughter's girlfriend, how much of a difference that would make for her. And she sounded genuinely like she reflected on that. And okay, in that particular situation, I can understand. I believe her when she says she wouldn't use that word again in public, right? I believe that at this point. Okay. Here we go. Hold on, I wanted to read that. Never told this story on YouTube, but when my sister started dating her now husband of 20 years, my family was against it because he was black. 20 years later and 5 amazing kids, we all love him. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm sure a mind of my own, I'm sure there's a million families who have um that same way of thinking, it happens. Okay.
There are people in 2025 that are not exposed to different races and cultures. They are ignorant, and the only way to help this is exposure and teaching. I could go through our community and find so many racial microaggressions. It's unreal, and people don't ever look at that and realize what is happening, and we don't ever call that out. And I don't think people understand the point that I'm trying to get across with this. Okay? I understand that people view what Clue said, and they're always going to think she's racist, and they're not going to change their mind, and that's fine and great. You have your right to your opinion. I'm going to say that I'm going to show proof, but in JB's chat, Grizzly True Crime is in JB's chat. CPS Laura is in JB's chat saying that JB is the male version of her. Nobody has still addressed K9 Jules being in the chat, BJ's Mod Southern Sass being in that chat, and I haven't gone through them all. I'm sure there's more.
Hold on, let me finish because I want to see, because I have a point.
And maybe they weren't making the same comments, but if you listen to JB, and I've heard y'all say this, if you're in his chat, you agree with his viewpoints. So
I think that's where like the selective hearing kind of set in there. Nobody had a problem with her just being in a chat and listening to a live stream, right? I think that the problem is that she participated in the things that she said were as egregious. So if she's saying Laura and whoever K9 Jules is, I don't know who that is. I think that's the lady from the Injunction, but K9 Jules and somebody sassy, somebody, I don't know. If all three of them were in the chat and they made those particular comments like that, I'm sure they would be called out. But I think the difference is one, they're not creators. Well, Laura is. I don't know about the Jules lady. I think she may have a page, but they would be called out for those same exact type of comments. So I'm hoping that like whatever she goes and finds, she can show that, because throwing that out there is also dangerous, I guess, because you're making it's the whataboutisms, and I don't understand that. Not true. We did address Canine Jules being in the chat, and I don't know who's claimed that her just being there is an issue. I don't know who has said her just being there is an issue at all. I'm not sure where that's coming from at all. Because to me, what I've heard people say is the problem is not her just being there. The problem is the fact that she participated in it. That's what the difference is. So I think that made a difference to me. I have a similar story, but it was me and my daddy would not allow it. I still wonder where that handsome man. Oh, that makes my heart sad for you. But I know you have an amazing man now. So
You gonna say that about Grizzly? Just something to think about. I don't know. But BJ is currently putting out the same rhetoric. Hate.
she said
Just something to think about. I don't know. But BJ is currently putting to JB, and I've heard y'all say this. If you're in his chat, you agree with his viewpoints. So you gonna say that about Grizzly? Just something to think about.
Yes, we saw Grizzly, Laura, and QB in the comment sections. They weren't under rhetoric streams or engaging in the ignorant conversation like that. Okay, so that is what makes the difference, is the engagement in the conversation, and it is making those same type of comments that she was making, like her commentary, which was her opinion. That's what the problem was. So, okay, fair enough. I get that.
I don't know. But BJ is currently putting out the same rhetoric, hate-filled extremist rhetoric. And I guess in these people's views that keep wanting to go live about Clue over and over and over, I guess that they think that racism is worse than transphobia, because BJ has been spouting transphobia.
Skirt. Here's the thing. You know what? Actually, let's look it up. Because I really do want to. So transphobia is the prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against transgender people or transgender identities. It encompasses a range of negative attitudes, beliefs, behaviors, including fear, hatred, aversion, and mistrust towards transgender individuals. Transphobia can manifest in various forms, from individual actions and microaggressions to systemic discrimination and violence. Okay, so these are examples of transphobic behavior. Now, these are just examples, of course. Using the wrong pronouns or name after being corrected, making derogatory jokes or comments about transgender people, refusing to acknowledge a transgender person's gender identity, intrusive or inappropriate questions about someone's body or transition, excluding transgender individuals from spaces or activities, spreading misinformation or harmful stereotypes about transgender people. So it appears to me that this is when you throw your hatred in a lot of different ways on transgender people, that is considered transphobia. That's how I translate this. And I have no knowledge of Nonsense being transgender that I'm aware of. She identifies as a female and was born a female. So I guess I really do struggle, and I want to know. I truly want to know. So I'm going to take it a step back. This is the second time I've seen it. So and I didn't correct it the first time because I just thought it was a one-off. But I do want to clarify that in my chat, please refer to Clue as Clue and not the KKK Clue. So that's my question. Nicole B and Grandma, I see those two, like they're okay for now, because I do want to have that conversation. So I really do want to. I understand why they're getting removed, but just so you know, I do I agree? Right? So that led me into going and looking at I watched last night, I watched Britney's stream. I have not watched any Britney streams um other than the ones that Joneson has reviewed, where it's like her reviewing somebody who's reviewing somebody who's reviewing somebody, kind of a thing, the Inception streams. Other than that, I had not watched a Britney stream. So last night I decided I'm going to watch Britney's stream and I want to see. So this is what I personally observed. Okay. I observed Britney allowing other people to act a fucking fool. It's like throwing that rock and hiding her hands, right? This is what I observed. I, yeah, Zen, I think she's beautiful. She's absolutely beautiful. I don't think there's anything wrong with, I don't care. I have broad shoulders like a fucking linebacker. So people may say that about me, but like that's words on the internet. Me personally, I just feel like it's words on the internet. However, I think when you are continually doing it, you're not doing it. You're now doing it with a malicious purpose towards people. You're not doing it because you truly are confused, you truly have questions, all of that, you know? Um, a lot of women have male features and resemble men. Saying a lady looks like a man is not transphobic unless they are trans. That is true. I do agree with you, Rachel. However, I think continually saying that a woman who we all know is a woman, right, looks like a man, you're no longer talking about her looks at that point. You are insinuating that she is something that she is not, questioning what she is, and questioning the gender is where that line gets crossed, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So I think when you continue to try and grow, like when you try and push this narrative, that's where it goes left. Let me tell you, I screenshotted so many comments, and God bless her mods' hearts, because her mods were working overtime to remove people's. And I did at one point in time hear Brittany at one point. It stopped very quickly. But at one time she says, come on, guys, let's not do that in the chat. But then they just keep going and going and going and going. And they can't get they can't get rid of the comments fast enough, because they're coming in fucking terribly. And it was gross. I screenshotted so many comments before the mods could remove it for myself, right? Not to be shown, but for myself. Then I'm listening, and so yesterday, shout out to Earth. I watched a video of Earth yesterday, and Earth was providing some information. This is, I may have to like pause the live and then come back later on to finish this up. I really feel bad that I am not going to get through this stream, but I'm going to try. But yesterday I watched, hey Beaver, it's good to see you. I watched a video that Earth had done, right? And she was highlighting some of the words that Chico had said, right? Okay, I respect that. I asked Earth in her comments, can you show me where anybody is saying this? I'm very confused. And Earth sent me a link. It is a private link, and it's on a page called Trish Talks, something like that. And so I watched the video. I put on the video as me and my husband were driving yesterday because I wanted to see what it is. And it was a page that looks like it is Craig for sure. But it's a video of Craig and he's talking. And it's, I don't know, I want to say maybe 18 to 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes long. It was a long video. We got like all the way to our destination, and then some, and then back, right? Okay. And we're listening to it. And when I paused, I asked my husband, I said, did you hear anything in there that you would define as racist, homophobic, transphobic? Did you hear anything in there that would identify that to you? And he said, no, all I heard was extremist religious ideals, right? And for me, that's how I felt too. His ideals from his religious ideals strongly A lot of Bible-based people believe in them. They definitely are pushed by that. Now, mind you, the one I was listening to was about war and the end times and all this other stuff, right? So, but when you go looking for something, you can easily find it. So, anyways, okay, let me go back to my original. Let me go back. This poor girl, she's gonna be like, "God, dog, you chopped my whole shit up."
phobia for over a year now, and there's no outrage about that. None. It's like, that's okay. And you see her doing this repeatedly and continued, but it's okay because she's a victim. Like, I don't understand how Clue's remarks in February of 2024 are more egregious than everything that BJ has put out over the past year and a half and continues to put out. She still calls nonsense mansense and sees nothing wrong with it. She has a mod that says transgender doesn't exist because God produced ovaries and testicles and there's nothing in between.
So let me go back. Uneducated, ignorant, for sure. Are they attempting to push a narrative towards nonsense and questioning her gender? 1000%. Is it wrong? Yes. It is so wrong to do. It is not okay, in my opinion. Now, if that's their beliefs and that's what they want to push, just like Clue, like I feel like the two can be like they can exist in the same space, right? So on one end, I can say, yes, I think what Clue did is gross and nasty, right? But on the other end, I can say, yes, what Brittany did. Let me tell you, last night, the shit that Craig was saying, Sinner was saying, the chat was saying, man, some of those people in the chat were gross. I was like, oh, I don't think I could watch much longer. Oh, how do people sit through this? It was terrible. There was diddlers thrown out there. There was talk about her ex-husband. There was talk about the kids. There was talk about this. There was talk about that. It is disgusting. But they are the same. They are absolutely the same. They're not too. I seen, I think it was JP in her comment section. I think it was her. I want to give credit for people when they come out with good comments or thought process. I want to give them credit for it. I don't want to take credit for it. But JP said 2 pigs rolling around in the mud. Just because one person has more mud on them still makes them 2 pigs rolling around in the mud. That doesn't change either way. Oops. B Fergs, I'm going to be honest. I think I maybe got maybe 20 minutes into it. And that's including the very beginning of the intro and all that, like that's all the way back there, including that 20. So I don't know. Okay. 2 or more things can be true at the same time. Eat the steak, discard the bone. I agree. When I was able to watch Brittany at night modding, I can tell you they delete so many comments about kids and creators that come in there. So many are deleted. I don't know how they keep up. Shady, I believe that because I would screenshot something as soon as I seen it, and soon after that, it would be gone. But my question would be, why do people feel so comfortable to say those things in her chat? That would be my question is, why do they feel so comfortable that the mods have to keep up with that? Wow, Rachel, I didn't know that, but that's crazy. I don't have a problem not saying certain things because they are not in my vocabulary and never have been. I don't have to struggle to think before speaking. I know that's right, Shady. I know that's right. In real life, I can guarantee these people would not sit in a circle and talk like they talk, for sure. Okay. Right. Are you fostering an environment where people think it's acceptable? I believe so. I truly believe that. She is fostering an environment and she justifies it because of the things that these other people have said or done. And I disagree with that. I then went, well, no, let's finish this one. Hold on. Sorry.
And people can't be transgender because there's no such thing. And that stays in her chat and it's a mod. But we're going to overlook that, right?
Facts, Wolfie.
In my eyes, hate is hate. Whether it be someone's religion, whether it be someone's race, whether it be someone's ethnicity, whether it be someone's sexual preference or gender, none of that should be tolerated. It should all be called out and addressed. And then whoever wants to continue with those people that's their decision. They shouldn't be shamed for it. They shouldn't be called out every day and made to feel bad a year and a half after it happens, because suddenly people feel sorry for someone. So suddenly it's all being brought up again and a big deal again. And creators are being called fake and hypocrites and all of this because at one time they spoke against it.
So I do think if I held a stream and I've set the standard that for me, racism is a deal breaker. That's my line, right? Does that mean that has to be everybody else's line? Absolutely not. But for me, that is my line, right? Okay. So I think I've said it enough where I've never gone over there because the way that she talks is not my style. I think she can be funny 100%. I think she can say some funny shit, but I'm not a person who likes like all of the sex talk. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a good sex talk. You know, I learned this week that white penis do not glow in the dark. I didn't know that, but I thought maybe, I don't know. But it's just not my style, and that's okay, right? Okay. But why is it being brought up again? Let's start there. I think that's the other issue is a lot of the creators who covered it a year and a half ago are bringing it up now because of the live stream that was done on Burnt Toast stream, right? And I think that it trying to deflect, making excuses, hypocrites, whatever the case may be, right? We're all hypocrites. We all make excuses or accept one thing where we won't accept another. Like it just happens. I understand that. But there's just some things like there's just a baseline, okay? And the layers from there are your own personal layers. But the baseline is the baseline for you. Let me say my baselines. Okay, let me make it very clear. My baselines are I don't fuck with anybody who can't take accountability when they fuck up. My baseline is I don't fuck with racist people. People who are willing to throw slurs out there towards any other ethnicity, race, ethnicity, lifestyle, if they're LGBTQ, if you got to throw something at them, religions, politics, that just ain't my style of person. That doesn't mean I won't hold a conversation with people who are on the opposite side of beliefs of me. No, I'll absolutely have an open conversation with people. However, if all you do is hate those people and have hate in your heart for those people, that's not somewhere that's just not something I could do. That's my baseline, right? I have a baseline where to be very, very close to me, you have to be willing to have some very open, honest, real conversations, and don't sugarcoat shit because I'm not going to. But to be very close to me, and I'm not just talking about like surface level, I'm talking about like in an inner circle, kind of a close. That would be like that's my baseline. If you can't handle me being completely honest when you're wrong, if you can't handle being completely honest with me when I'm wrong, we can't fuck with each other, and that's okay. Other people may say their baseline is if you cuss all the time, Nunya, I can't fuck with you. All right. I respect that. Like everybody isn't for everybody. And I think that's what's happening is we're trying to force everybody to be just like us. And that's not right. I don't know. I'm careful where I go right now for my own sanity. People are being taken from their families right now that have been here for decades without due process. I'm just sick of hate and evil. Shady, I do not disagree with you. Somebody told me the other day and again, that's why this makes it so ironic. I was told in the comment section, so Wispy did a video calling me out, and I had to bring it to her attention because apparently she doesn't see the comments in her section in her comment section, I guess, but or maybe she doesn't get the notifications. Who knows? YouTube Studio can be tricky. But in her comment section, I'm responding to a video she had made about me. And in her comment section, somebody tells me, Shouldn't I be on the run hiding from ICE because I'm about to be deported? That was their response. And my response, my response is not, it wasn't even anything about that. It was just, I was telling Wispy, like, this is so funny for you to have reviewed this when you don't review anything else. And like, I said what I said, you know, like that's my response to her. And here they come telling me I should be on the run from ICE. But I was born here in the United States. I got a birth certificate, a real ID, a passport. Like, what do you need? You know, should I have to prove that to somebody? But that's what we're making, right? That's why we are starting to make a community that makes these things okay, because we've made excuses for it. We've allowed people to come in and say, hey, this is acceptable over here. A fucking free for all. Can I deport you to Illinois? No, hell no. Not with that snow. I can't live in that. I'm a Cali girl. You know, but that's what, like, again, is Shady, your comment just brings it up to me, and it makes me think to myself, one, the world is on fire. I know people are like, we know. Sometimes people need this drama to distract them. Okay? That's what they need, is they need this drama to distract them from the shitty, evil world that we do live in. And I understand that completely. However, there's shitty people everywhere. There's racist people everywhere. There's homophobic and transphobic people everywhere. There's bigots everywhere. Craig is not the only one. Clue's not the only one. They are everywhere. Kids are leaving school not knowing if when they get home, their parents will be there. They don't know that, right? So while you think that I should be hiding from ICE because I'm going to be deported, which I think is fucking hilarious personally, right? But while you think those things, that's the reason why the shit that Craig says and the shit that Clue says, it absolutely impacts what we say. Lord Jesus, I'm trying. I don't respect that she stood on it. Go educate your dumb ass. But Chasing, what if she doesn't see it as dumb? What if that truly is what she believes? Like, for example, Chasing, I'm going to just, and Chasing, you know I'm not coming for you. But truly, right? I know that Chasing is a believer. I know that there are a few of my friends who are believers. We believe in God and we believe in Christianity, right? No judgment, okay? If you do not believe, just take a step back for a second, okay? This isn't for you, okay? Great gang, open minds. All right. This poor gal's video, listen, just saying, if you see this, I am so sorry that I am not getting through your video. I promise I'm going to keep dropping it in the chat, because I do feel bad that I'm not even getting through your fucking video. I'm so sorry. But Chasing, you believe in God, okay? And you believe that there is one God and he sent his son to die for your sins on the cross. Okay. That is your belief. You have every right to believe that. Okay. All right. However, what if somebody told you you need to not believe that anymore? You need to let that go, educate yourself, and realize that that's not the truth. But it's your belief. You believe that. I think that's where, like, to me, I'm trying to respect that is what she believes in. It doesn't mean I believe in it. It doesn't mean I agree with it. It doesn't even mean that I fuck with it. And like, it's wrong in my book. But to me, it's no different than Craig. Craig believes in the end times. Craig believes in the world coming to an end, and homosexuals being judged, trans people being judged. He believes in all these different things, right? And Muslims and all that kind of stuff, right? He believes those things. Now, do I believe those things? Fuck no. I believe God is love, first and foremost, okay? But that's what he believes in. Who am I? Now, is it dangerous for him to be out there spewing any and everything towards those people? Yes, but it's as dangerous for her to be out there calling black people monkeys, or to say they all need to be shipped back to Africa, or they're Tyrones and Sharkeishas. Racism is a good thing. Like, if that's dangerous too to a whole group of people, they're all dangerous. I honestly, I love how you respond to the trolls when they ask you that stuff, Chasing. Okay, all right, back to this video. You know what? I may have to pause it, but we're going to see.
And then they quit following her for a matter of time, watched and saw that it wasn't repeat behavior.
Agreed.
Then you have BJ over here repeating the behavior over and over, speaking things like her man in the back saying blatantly he's anti-Islam, posting things about Muslims. And in this time, in this period, in this country, none of that should be said. That is extremist views, and it's dangerous. And I'm upset because all this is coming out again. Why? I don't understand why. Because BJ's getting called out for...
It's actually being called out because when BJ says it, Clue lies about it, or Clue makes excuses for it, and then Joneson ends up correcting it because she's reviewing Clue. So that's why this has come out so much recently over the last 4 weeks or 3 weeks, something like that. I think Joneson said she's been reviewing her. That's the reason why it keeps coming up now. That's the reason why there wasn't a long time. Nobody spoke on it at all, right? Like, it was like last July, which is almost a year ago. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's this big issue right now. The only thing that's changed is Joneson has started to review Clue. And when Clue lies and says, I never said that, when Clue lies and says, well, what's the context? Joneson will correct. There's no difference in the context. There's no difference in this. That's the only thing that's changed right now compared to a year ago. Because nobody else was talking about this.
For what her man is saying. Like, BJ's been called out for the transphobia every time it happened.
Same, Sean. Same. I believe everyone has the right to their opinion, but I don't always respect it. That's facts. Why does everything always deflect back to Brittany? You know what? I'm going to play you this real quick, Lindsay. And for me, I believe that other people feel the same way. So this was from Nonsense's stream on, I think this was, a Sunday sermon. So it'd be on Sunday. But listen to what I need to clarify that I didn't call the cops on BJ because she's racist. That's 100% not true. Can you drop a link for me to explain, please? Number one, dark horse justice. Absolutely not. I don't fuck with cop collars. That's number one. No offense. Actually, no, all the offense. But number two, nobody here has said you called the cops on BJ because she's racist. Not one person has said that. So I appreciate you stopping in, but respectfully, I will not be giving you a link. The only thing that's changed, in my opinion, is Burnt Toast started reviewing BJ. Maybe I can't, which even that is mind-boggling to me. But okay, all right. So let's listen, because this to me kind of answered a lot of things for me. But I wanted to show you guys as well.
Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. If you want to help your girl out.
Good morning.
Good morning, babe. First of all, like I said, if you're not a minority, then you really can't tell nobody about racism and what the fuck we experience.
Mm.
And that's not saying, oh, poor me, I deal with this all the time. No. No.
Have you heard this yet?
Because I didn't really give a fuck to hear anybody's response, because I've seen people tag me. No offense, my beef wasn't with you no damn way. Now, whatever happens with you and other creators, so be it. My beef is with BJ, fucking SW, and Yvette. Period. Those three. Those are the ones who did fuck shit and should have left me the fuck alone.
Right.
So I don't know what happened with SW, BJ, and Yvette and Chico, but you can hear from the passion in Chico's tone that there's a lot of hurt behind that, and that she is very frustrated and angry at them for what they have done. Right. That to me, I think, and this is just an example of it, right? I think that every single one of these people has that experience. And I feel like because of that experience, it's personal for them, right? I can't say it's everybody. Let me not say that, because I did watch just a small part. Boy, that's like 5 thoughts all trying to get out at one time. It's not going to work out very well for me. I think it's personal for them, and that's why they go there. I also think that they get frustrated. I agree with you. I think that they get frustrated in seeing her play innocent when she is absolutely not innocent in what's going on. And I think that that's frustrating to them, like understandably. So, for the same areas, I'm going to say something when you call. Absolutely chasing. Yeah. I have a lot of respect, but I don't know what happened either, but leave Chico alone. Well, I don't know what they're doing now. Let me not say that. I don't think that they're messing with her now, but, okay, we got to hurry up. Hold on. Actually, you know what? I encourage you, go give her the view. I do feel like just saying deserves the view. There's a different video that I wanted to touch on, and I'm curious other people's thoughts on it. So let me play this other video real quick, because I only have a little bit of time left. You know, I like to keep it to small. How much of Chico's issues with BJ are her own, and how much are from nonsense? So B-Fergs, I wasn't around or watching. I guess that there's something that happened with SW and her, and something with the wrench and something blah blah blah. But I do feel like whatever happened in that situation continues to be added on every time you hear. So like if somebody said something that really hurt you or did something that really hurt you, I feel like what would happen at that point is every time they said something or did something, like it'd be kind of like a trigger for you. That's kind of how I feel, because she stays in it with nonsense. I do feel like that's, is what it is. SW, I think it's SW 4x4 or 4, I think it's 4x4. She used to be a mod for a couple of people, and then I guess all of a sudden, the only gist that I know, I don't know, but the only gist that I know right now is that they, I think she was a mod for Pascal, and when Nonsense was calling out Pascal, it went really bad. And then all of a sudden, she was in Brittany's chat, and she was a mod for Brittany, and they were friends, and something blew up and happened from there. I don't know the backstory to it. Honestly, I don't really give a fuck. But I do respect that Chico is saying nobody else matters to her with this fuck shit other than Brittany. And I respect that. Like I respect when somebody is telling you, like what they're dealing with. I respect that. Like that's her beef. She has to work that out, I get that completely. Okay, let me go to this last one. Oh, good golly. Okay. Okay, this is another video I seen this morning. So it's stupid, the right word. Educate yourself. Whites are no better than anyone else. I don't think anybody is better than anybody else. Chasing 100%. And I do think that once you learn that it is ignorance or uneducation, you should absolutely, you should go educate yourself. 100%. I agree with that. All right. So the other one was Uni. Uni made a video this morning. Her name is Unitanica. Oh, no, it's Unitonica. Sorry, I always say it wrong. But Uni made a video this morning, and I thought it was interesting and gave me some food for thought as well. So I wanted to go over that as well. I will drop her link real quick because she every now and then goes live, and she's in a different community. She is from the drama community. But okay, chasing. I could see that. Okay. All right. But she had some good food for thought, so I wanted to go over it.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hey guys. So I have a valid question for Kuminati, Trisha Talks, or I think that's what her name is, Queen Bee, and whoever else is consistently going after Brittany. I was a person in the drama community that caused issues, and people consistently streamed me. I can tell you from experience that it was very stressful. It made me feel a certain way, and I was not in a good mental space at the time, and it wasn't very effective. I fought back, but it was chaos. And my question to you guys is, other than making money and being rude and mean, what is your goal in this situation? Now, I understand that she's done things that you don't agree with, but what does this have to do with true crime? What does this have to do with true crime? I'm not saying that Brittany is perfect.
So, one thing I thought of when I heard this is number one, none of these channels are true crime. And at this point, they're all drama channels and drama sells. I did tell her in her comment section, drama sells. Every single channel covering Brittany J as their content, right? It's because they're getting paid to do that. Like, this is their job. It's what they get paid to do, is trash her on a daily basis, right? And again, they have every right. It's their channels. They can do whatever content they want, but they're doing it because drama sells. On the flip side of that, somebody in the comment section in a different post was like, well, we all heard Brittany say that she didn't cover Summer Wells because it doesn't make money. Here's the thing. None of these channels cover anybody else because it doesn't make them money. And I mean no shade in this when I say, has anybody seen how many people are in Duchess's stream when she's going state by state by state showing missing people in those states? No, because they don't care about victims. They don't care about true crime. They don't care about cases. They don't care to bring awareness to it. They don't care about those things. They care about what brings them the money and the views and the clicks, which that is Brittany. So I feel like if we're being real here, call it what you want to, but that's the reason why they're covering Brittany, is because they're being paid to do it. I get upset because the things clues that affect so many. If you are a parent and talk like that, your child soaks that in. In return, a lot of kids take it to school and say the same to other kids. I don't disagree with that, Shady. I think the problem is you also have, so number one, Clue doesn't have small children in their home, but Brittany and Craig are saying those things and they have small children in their home. And I'm not talking about their children specifically. They can parent them how they want to. What I'm saying though is that same rhetoric that comes out of her mouth that's dangerous, it is just as dangerous that comes out of their mouth. And that part, like that, they're the same to me, is they're both putting out what is very dangerous. Chief's commentary. Nope, we don't have the right to POC how to feel regarding racism. I agree. I know how I personally feel, how my immediate family feels. I talk from my perspective, not a person of color. I respect that. Chasing. You said something else. Does she have the right? Absolutely. Is it simply, well, she believes that? So nope. This is an online community and it's a call out community. Fuck her opinion. I can respect that too. Again, that's why it's getting called out, right? That's how I feel. Like that's how it goes. Not only does drama sell, it's distracting from their own lives. Say that again for the people in the back, Captain Avi. Not only does drama sell, it's distracting from their own lives. That's facts. That's facts. There is a reason why they are in, if you watch, right? And this isn't just like, to me, that I'm not talking about the nonsense in Queen Bee and Clue and Grit and Jay and Trisha Talks. And I believe, again, I do want to commend Granny, that I know of, has kind of stayed away from doing all of that and tried to cover other cases, right? And is trying to talk about some other things and trying to move on in that way, right? So I'll commend her there. While she may still participate in chats and things like that, but she's not making it her content like they are, right? Okay. However, on all sides, nobody is talking about Kate. Let me not say that. One of the best things that could have happened is the Karen Reed trial, because so many people got distracted and weren't paying attention to any of this shit. And it was amazing. And now it's over. And here we all are, right? Back in the shit show. Love that. Okay, let me play this. Hold on.
But neither are you. I just don't understand a group of people that go after one person. Like have said things to Brittany, but I've noticed, and like I had to sit back, you guys are going after her still, day after day after day after. Like, you guys stream her when she's live. You guys make fun of her physical attributes, like her glasses and her face. What's wrong? What?
So on this part, I was just kind of struggling because I was just like, yeah, but like they all participate in the look shaming. They all participate in the same way they talk about her cellulitis. They talk about Clue's medical condition with her eyes and how her eyes go different directions, right? I heard yesterday Craig told a joke about Clue's eyes, right? It was a joke about eyes in general, but he applied it to Clue, right? So they both do that. Like there's no, I don't know, they're the same people, all of them. Like she goes after looks just as much as they do. And I did watch Clue's stream from yesterday. Again, I'm trying to be fair and hear it from all different sides. And when I listened to Clue's stream yesterday, she said she hadn't been live in a couple of days. Um, and BJ went live and still covered Clue and talked about Clue and bashed Clue, whatever. None of them want this to end. That is the truth of it. It is a huge money making contest for them, and I can guarantee you that the second that one of these people latches on to a case, it is where they all will go. They all will go. One will go, and all the opposite side will go with them. It's crazy. It's crazy. This place is out of control. I'm leaving YouTube. Bye, all. Bye, Lacey. Take care of yourself. That's what's most important. Yeah, Cash, I agree. All sound the effing same. You just replace a name. You know what we should do? No joke. And you guys could tell me if it'd be interesting to see or not, right? You know how they could do trivia? We could do like a who said it. We could get some of the nastiest, worst things that these people have said, right? Everybody, go to every chat. You name the channel, we'll find something. Okay. We can go and get these things, and then we just put the saying up on the screen, and you guess who said it. And I can guarantee you that some of us would be surprised at who has said what. That's what I would think. Thank you, Kelko. From what I see, when there's no missing child case, these weirdos start going for each other. Yeah. Yeah. But really, if you look at it like the Layla Santinello situation, when that started happening, because Betty was covering it, everybody jumped on it, right? Because we were on the Betty hate train at that point in time. Any case that if it, like Idaho 4 is different, it's huge, everybody's talking about it, kind of a thing. We're not talking about a case like that, but in a larger case, in a smaller case, if Brittany attached herself to it, every single channel would start covering it and covering her even more. It's crazy. Yes, 6 Up and I planned that at one time. We never got to it. You so should, TPE. And you could do it as a premiere like game. Nanya almost did a name replace clip last night on a stream. It is just, yeah. We did this in the chat before. It is enlightening. I agree. You'd never know who said it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I seen those 2 streams today. I thought that they were very thought-provoking for me personally. I felt like I wanted to go live and speak on it. So why did everyone stop going for BHB? Is she suddenly reformed? Oh no, Beefers. Not from what I've seen. I there's one channel that I know of that still covers her, and that's Lady K. But no, she's still the same old person doing the same old fuck shit she's been out there doing. But why don't they cover her? Well, she doesn't respond and give them as much what do you call it? Not inventory, ammo to go back at her with. I don't know. It's not that hard, but it is for narcissists, or if they do, it's not real. What did Grandma say? The difference is when someone realizes what they said was hurtful and apologizes and changes, period. I agree, Grandma. I agree. 100%. I would agree with that. Oh, okay. I don't know who Lady K is. Lady K is cool. She's good people. She's a smaller channel. But I don't think she's monetized. Don't quote me on that though. Don't be out here trying to quote. No, I'm not. I just said. But hold on, she's in my sub list. I'll drop her channel. She's somebody else. She just goes live randomly. She covers a kind of mixture of things. She talks about a couple of different things, takes you around her neighborhood. Not her exact neighborhood, but you know what I mean. Let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. I guess I got to do it this way. There you go. That's her channel. But she still she does pelvic thrust. She tells everybody to get up and stretch your pelvis. But she's a cool lady, and she's been she covers some BHB. She's covering a little bit of Diddy. I think she's covered a little bit of the Krama stuff, very, very little bit. And she just talks about different things. She took us out to Cape Canaveral. I think that's how you say it, to go see a rocket being launched. It was pretty cool. So, all right. Well, that's my time, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. Please, again, be fair. If you're going to have energy towards one person, you got to be willing to have it. I prefer to stay in my chair and do Kegels. Okay. Thank you on the treadmill. LOL listening. Much appreciated. No worries, Lady K. We appreciate you. All right. Y'all have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to y'all later. Let's go out on some good vibes real quick. Let's see if I can find. Also, perfectly, if you got to this point of the stream, I just want you to know you weren't here for us today. Okay? Thanks a lot, and screw your job.
What's wrong with the world, mama? People living like they ain't got no mamas. I think the whole world's addicted to the drama, only attracted to things that'll bring the trauma. Overseas, yeah, we trying to stop terrorism, but we still got terrorists here living in the USA, the big CIA, the Bloods and the Crips and the KKK. But if you only have love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate and to discriminate.